welcome to my full moon reading. This full moon is on March 28th actually, and I will say a little bit about what I see in the cards first, and then we will have a look at the astrology. So to me, the main theme, I would say, during this full moon is about healing, and we will see later in the astrology that this seems to be the theme around this full moon, that something is culminating, something is coming to an end. We have Vesta, we have Litha, and we have Chiron. And to me these cards talk about healing that comes out of the courage to really allow yourself to not run away, to not focus on something else, but to really stay in what you feel. Be present. This is the moon of being present, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Be present. And in this presence you will find healing. The energy of this full moon says, I have to remind myself of the myth of Chiron, Chiron the ferryman that takes the dead people across the Styx. And in astrology and also in astronomy, Chiron is a moon of Pluto, and it's almost as big as Pluto. So Chiron is the one that takes the dead people into his world, into the underworld. And this myth has a lot to do with this full moon. We have a knowledge that goes beyond what is visible, that is beyond life and death, that is beyond the boundaries of the visible. To connect to this knowledge, we have to let go of what we think we are, of what we think what our life is, and to really become fully present. And to become fully present means to be with Chiron, the king of water, being in compassion with you and your life. And that means that you really stay in it and allow the new to emerge out of it, to emerge out of these waters, Styx waters, where you think there might not be anything coming out of, but staying in it really allows you to heal. There is healing needed because in the past we have Iago, we have change, we have grandmother spider, and we have the truth. So there was something that had to happen with grandmother spider. It is something that is destined, that really had to happen. But with Iago, it usually has to do with intrigues, with lies, with betrayal, with things that were not as they seem, or people that were not as they seem. Or maybe you even betrayed yourself by believing something that was not real. So it seems like with this full moon something will be revealed, or had already been revealed, that is really, really painful. Whether it has to do with your work, or whether it has to do with love relationships or intimate relationships or even friendships. But this is about a form of betrayal, just thinking only about your advantage, or being talked into something. Maybe someone you really love or like was talked into something, to believe something that wasn't real, but because they were talked into that, they really did something horrible to you. And because that was hurting, I would say that this process of healing is a little bit uncomfortable, because to sit in what is sometimes can be very light and can be very easy and can be very beautiful, but sometimes it is hard. It is hard to stay in what is and to just allow everything to wash through you like the river Styx, and to say, I allow that pain will wash away, I allow that my lies will be washed away, and I allow to heal through my truth, to the truth that I hold. What comes out of this has to do with passion, with initiation, and with Chiron. Out of this healing process, out of this realization process, out of this process of being present, can really something emerge that has to do with passion for life, with initiation, with new ideas, new visions, and also with new contacts. Or it is a refreshment of old relationships. This full moon can also involve others in this healing, because it is also with Venus. So it might be that there is this being present with each other. It is not easy to be fully present when it's uncomfortable with someone else, where you would like rather to scream or to cry, but not going so much into the drama, but more allowing to be present and to be still, and to allow the truth to guide you, because there is truth in this full moon. There is a healing through truth. I will have a little look at the astrology right now, because it is quite fascinating that the astrology really reflects the cards, or my cards reflect the astrology, which would be better to say, because in the astrology we have Ceres, Chiron, the Sun and Venus in Aries opposing the Moon, because it's a full moon, and the Moon is in Libra. And this is interesting because Libra and Aries to me is about connection. It is about this is me and this is you. And the Moon in Libra says, I'm willing to be fair, I'm willing to be just, I'm willing to see all the angles that are there. And Aries is our identity, and it seems that this full moon shines a light on a form of identity crisis, a form of identity crisis that might come through pain in relationships. And this pain can be recent, or it can be an old pain that comes up, but it has to do with a pain in close relationships that really were challenging our sense of identity, our sense of this is who I am, and our maybe even our dignity. With Ceres and Chiron, it really has to do even with losses. So it is profound, and because of that there is a lot of emotion involved. And there is also Uranus in a quincunx to the moon. With Uranus moon aspects there is trauma involved, and there is trauma involved with a quincunx that is not really conscious. So we are in troubled water, so to speak. And when we are in troubled water, it is not so easy to realize what is going on and to communicate what we realize. But the good news is that there is a grand air trine between the moon in Libra and the north node with Mars in Gemini and Saturn in Aquarius. Usually Mars-Saturn aspects are quite difficult, because it's like really pushing a wall. But in a trine I would say it is the contrary, push through a wall. And in this case I would say to push through a wall of hurt feelings, of emotional upheaval, and the ability, or the possibility I'd rather say, to respond and not to react, like Tara Brach would say. So around this full moon I would give the advice to do Rain from Tara Brach, or to really watch her videos. I will link a video of her below, because I feel this is really the right work. The work of Gabor Mate, or her work, is kind of, I really allow myself to stay in what is, and I allow myself to respond instead of reacting. And of course this is very, very difficult when we are confronted with deep wounds from the past, wounds that come from the past, wounds that remind us of the past. Like, I don't know, something happens and it reminds you of childhood stuff. With the quincunx to the moon it could be something like that. It triggers you without realizing that it is not just that person that hurts you that much, but you are also triggered. And if you do not allow yourself to stay in the moment and to really wash all these emotions through you, then it is far more easy to just project them outside and make others responsible. This full moon is really an opportunity to communicate old wounds from the past, and by communicating, letting it go, and maybe by communicating it, transforming and improving old wounds in a relationship that you have with someone that you really, really care for, or being courageous enough to stand in your truth, allowing yourself to transform and allowing yourself to heal, because this Ceres Chiron Sun Venus thing is in Aries. It allows you to form a new identity, but you can only form this new identity, at least this is what I feel this full moon says, if you allow to stay in the pain and to really allow to be present in it. And if you allow that, then you allow yourself to emerge out of it. Like in my cards with Chiron and Chiron, this emerging out of your deep waters and with your deepest wisdom that is part of your wound, because your wound is not just a dark place. Your wound is also, or can be, a place where you can grab a diamond that is your wisdom. Or like Thich Nhat Hanh would say, no mud, no lotus. So if we allow to be present in our darkness without just exploding. I mean, in my cards there was a theme around betrayal and everything, so I feel like this full moon there will be a change, that old structures can go and allow new structures to emerge and to give room for new structures and a new and more passionate and more loving connection to others. So this is what I wish for you, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed full moon. Namaste.